Hello dear friends, in today's video lecture we are going to discuss the second poem in our collection, that is Bangle Sellers. Friends, Bangle Sellers is a very famous poem written by Sarojini Naidu. Before going to discuss this poem, let us take a look at Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was known as the Nightingale of India because of the poetic lyric she wrote. Along with that, she was a great politician, orator, as well as administrator. She was deeply involved in freedom struggle and she was also the follower of Mahatma Gandhi. She tried to blend English and Indian, both the sensibilities, into her poetry, which is lyrical as well as musical. And her birthday is celebrated as Women's Day. This is all about द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ सरोजिनी नायडू. आपल्या सर्वांना कल्पना आहे सरोजिनी नायडू या भारतीय होत्या आणि त्यांना भारताची गानकोकिळा असं म्हटलं जातं. त्यासोबतच त्या पॉलिटिशियन आणि प्रशासक म्हणून देखील प्रसिद्ध होत्या आणि महात्मा गांधींच्या त्या फॉलोअर्स होत्या. त्यांच्या कवितांमध्ये आपल्याला भारतीय आणि इंग्रजी अशा दोन्ही प्रकारच्या संवेदनशीलता आपल्याला आढळतात आणि त्यांचा वाढदिवस हा विमेन्स डे, महिला दिन म्हणून साजरा करण्यात येतो. Moving further, let us talk about the poem Bangle Sellers. Bangle Sellers is musical verse. That is a song sung by the men who sell glass bangles at the village fairs or market during festivals or an auspicious days. First of all, you should keep it in mind that this poem has been written almost more than 50 or 60 years or pre-independent India, and those days it was a fashion of selling bangles. Then different stages of womanhood. What is special in this poem is that the poem describes different stages in the womanhood and different colors symbolized as the stages of woman life: a young girl, a bride, a middle-aged matron, as well as older. Young girl, bride, middle-aged and older. These are the stages into the life of woman, and all these stages are described beautifully into this poem. स्त्रीच्या जीवनामध्ये येणाऱ्या वेगवेगळ्या अवस्था या कवितामध्ये व्यक्त करण्यात आलेल्या आहेत. देन पॅट्रियार्की इन इंडियन सोसायटी. दिस इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टंट फॅक्टर. थ्रू दिस पोएम द पोएट wants to convey the patriarchy that is very much rooted deeply into the human society. The poem is devoted to the lives of countless women who selflessly devote their lives in the service of their families and loved ones, never expected anything in return. आपण आपल्या समाजामध्ये अशा अनेक स्त्रिया बघतो की ज्या संपूर्णपणे आपल्या कुटुंबासाठी, आपल्या पतीसाठी, आपल्या घरच्या लोकांसाठी स्वतःला झोकून देतात आणि कुठलीही प्रकारची अपेक्षा ठेवत नाही. अशा प्रकारचं वर्णन देखील या कवितेमध्ये अतिशय सुंदरपणे आलेलं आहे. When we look at the summary of the poem Bangle Sellers, we find that bangle sellers are on their way to the temple fair. हे आपण सगळं डिस्कस करणार आहोत. बँगल सेलर्स हे मात्र पुरुष आहेत आणि ते अशा प्रकारच्या जत्रेमध्ये किंवा मार्केट प्लेसमध्ये आपल्याला बांगड्या विकताना दिसतात. दे कॉल आउट टू कस्टमर्स अँड ॲडव्हर्टाईज व्हॉट दे वॉ. प्रत्येक बँगल सेलरला जो शोध असतो तो असतो त्यांच्या कस्टमर्सचा आणि त्या कस्टमर्सला अट्रॅक्ट करण्यासाठी ते वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीने ॲडव्हर्टाईज करतात आणि अशा पद्धतीने ते बांगड्या विकतात. Then he or they have several sort of bangles, and they say that some bangles are for maidens, and the colors of bangles is also mentioned there. Some silver, blue, red, green. These different colors are for maiden girls. Then bangles for young bride, that the girl who is going to marry soon. Yellow and red bangles are for young bride. Bangles are for a middle-aged woman. And finally, pronoun we for bangle sellers. We find this pronoun we in the initial part of the poem. So we stands for all those bangle sellers who are selling their bangles to different women. Then let us turn to the stanza first of this poem. We know very well that there are 4 stanzas. Before going to discuss this poem, I would like to suggest all you boys and girls that keep the text in front of you. आपल्या समोर आधी टेक्स्ट ठेवा आणि टेक्स्टकडे नजर फिरवत फिरवत तुम्ही हा व्हिडिओ बघा. लेट अस लुक ॲट द फर्स्ट स्टॅन्झा. फर्स्ट स्टॅन्झा Bangle sellers are we who bear or shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow tinted circles of light, lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives? Here, after this first stanza, some meanings are also given here. जर आपल्याला त्याची गरज पडेल तर आपण ते मिनिंग्स पाहू आणि आपण ही कविता समजून घेऊ. Bangle sellers are we. So as I said earlier that those bangle sellers, they are advertising their bangles, and they have come to this place to sell their bangles, and they say they are selling the bangles, and they say that our shining lords, see the meaning, shining lords, beautiful glittering bangles. You will find that every bangle seller has different shades of bangles, and the shining lords to the temple fair. Temple fair, it is an occasion or markets, that is the occasion in which they come and sell the bangles. Who will buy this delicate bride? This is the advertising of the bangles, that who is going to buy this delicate and attractive and bright bangles, rainbow tinted circles of light. So this is the advertising, and rainbow tinted, rainbow has 7 colors, so he has different sort of bangles having different colors. So in a way, those bangle sellers, they are advertising their bangles. Lustrous tokens of radiant lives. These are very superb phrases used into this poem. Lustrous tokens, the meaning of lustrous tokens, bright and shining bangles. So these are bright and shining bangles which are attracted by the women of radiant lives. Now radiant lives has again additional meaning, that radiant lives is related with the lives of women. So in a way, happy life we can say. And for happy daughters and happy wives, all these girls as well as wives who are going to purchase the bangles, they are happy, and it is said that they are happy because they are contented in their married life. So the girls are happy as well as the wives are also happy, and this is all up to the first stanza of this poem. Let us move to the next stanza. The next stanza, what is the speciality of next stanza? It is said that the poet describes the first stage of the woman's life. And what is the first stage of the woman's life? A young girl, through the description of the bangles. सेकंड स्टॅन्झामध्ये आपण या स्त्रीच्या जीवनातली पहिली अवस्था बघणार आहोत. एक लहान अशा प्रकारची मुलगी, जी तरुण होत आहे अशा प्रकारची मुलगी, तिच्याबद्दल म्हटलेलं आहे, सम आर मीट फॉर मेडन्स रिस्ट, सिल्वर अँड ब्ल्यू ॲज द माउंटेन मिस्ट, सम आर फ्लश लाईक द बर्ड्स दॅट ड्रीम ऑन द ट्रँक्विल ब्रो ऑफ अ वुडलँड स्ट्रीम, some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. Very beautiful terms have been used into this second stanza of this poem. Some are meet. Here meet is suitable. Some bangles are suitable. Where the bangles are suitable for maiden's wrist. Silver and blue. These are the colors of the bangles. As the mountain mist. Mountain mist, young girls are delicate and beautiful. So the beautiful imagery of mountains has been used into this poem or into this line. Some are flushed like the birds that dream. Flushed, the meaning is flushed means red in color, and birds ज्याला आपण कळी असं म्हणतो. Some are blushed like the birds that dream. तर ही लाल अशा रंगाची एक कळी आहे, आणि ती पुढे म्हणते ऑन द ट्रँक्विल ब्रो ऑफ अ वुडलँड स्ट्रीम. ट्रँक्विल मीन्स पीसफुल, ट्रँक्विल ब्रो ऑफ अ वुडलँड स्ट्रीम याचा अर्थ द पीसफुल सरफेस ऑफ द स्ट्रीम. तर एखाद्या झऱ्याच्या शेजारी एखाद्या फुलांनी, एखाद्या रोपट्यानी, फुलझाडांनी आपलं अस्तित्व दाखवावं आणि तिथल्या कळीला त्या ठिकाणी सेफ वाटावं, अशा पद्धतीची तुलना इथे मुलींच्या बाबतीत कवीने केलेली आहे. सम आर ॲग्लो विथ द ब्लूम दॅट क्लिव्ज. द मिनिंग्स आर गिवन हिअर. ॲग्लो दॅट इज शायनिंग, then bloom that is blossoming, and cleaves sticks to closely. So some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. Limpid that is clear. So shining, blossoming, and sticks closely to the clear glory of the newborn leaves. So the bangles are so beautiful that they are compared with the happiness of the maiden, of the young girl, as well as in nature we find any newborn leaf or birds, they are compared with the birds and newborn lives. This is all up to the second stanza where the poet describes about the life of a young girl and how a young girl is happy into her life. Let us move to the third stanza. Third stanza, what is the speciality of third stanza? Moving further into the life of the woman, we find that in this stanza, the poet talks about the second stage in the woman's life when she is bride and about to get married. जेव्हा मुलगी आणखी मोठी होते आणि आता ती लग्नाच्या वेदीवर उभी आहे आणि लवकरच तिचं लग्न होऊ घातलेलं आहे, अशा परिस्थितीमधली मधला हे वर्णन आहे. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on her bridal morn. Some like the flame of her marriage fire, or rich with the hue of her heart's desire, tinkling, luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. This is the beautiful stanza into this poem. Sunlit corn असं त्यांनी म्हटलेलं आहे. सनलिट कॉर्नचा अर्थ दिला इथे, कॉर्न विच इज लाइटन अप बाय द सन. रंगाची विविध छटा जी बांगड्यांमध्ये आपल्याला दिसते त्याच्याबद्दल सांगितलं गेलं आहे. शी विअर्स ब्राईट गोल्डन येलो बँगल्स अँड दॅट इज वाय सनलिट कॉर्न. मीट फॉर अ ब्राईड ऑन हर ब्रायडल मॉर्न. मॉर्न दॅट इज मॉर्निंग. ब्राईड हा शब्द वापरून त्या स्त्रीची पुढची अवस्था कवयित्रीने सांगितलेली आहे. शी हॅज बिकम ब्राईड and very soon she is going to marry now. Some like the flame of her marriage fire, so or rich with the hue of her heart's desire. So she also wears fiery red bangles when she is going to marry, and they are like flame of the sacred marriage fire. लग्नाच्या वेळेस जेव्हा आपण फायर पेटवतो, आग पेटवतो आणि त्यातला जो रंग आहे फ्लेमचा, तशा रंगाच्या बांगड्या तिने परिधान केलेल्या आहेत. और रिच विथ द ह्यू ऑफ द हार्ट्स डिझायर. This also indicates, this color also expresses the passion in her heart about the married life. प्रत्येक मुलीच्या मनामध्ये वेगवेगळ्या भावनांचा कल्लोळ आपल्याला दिसतो जेव्हा तिचं आता लग्न होऊ घातलेलं आहे. तर या ओळीमध्ये तिच्या हृदयामध्ये चाललेल्या वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे विचार या ठिकाणी कवयित्रीने व्यक्त केलेले आहेत. टिंकलिंग, ल्युमिनस, टेंडर अँड क्लिअर. टिंकलिंग एक अशा प्रकारचा सुंदर असा आवाज जो बांगड्यांचा होतो. ल्युमिनस दॅट इज ब्राईट अँड टेंडर that is delicate and clear like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. शेवटच्या ओळीमध्ये laughter आणि tear दोन्ही गोष्टी एकत्र आलेल्या आपल्याला दिसत आहेत. Tinkling, luminous, tender and clear like her bridal laughter and tear and bridal tear. Why laughter? Because she is going to getting married and starting her new life. But at the same time, another thought that comes into the mind of that bride, that she is sad now and she is shedding tears. Why? Because she is going to leave her parents and her home, and that is why she is in a sentimental state. And at the same time, when she is laughing because she is going to enter into a new life, and at the same time she is shedding tears because she is going to leave her parents and the home. So this is all about the third stanza where the poet describes about the second stage into woman's life when she becomes bride and she is going to marry. Moving on to the next and the final stanza of this poem, stanza number 4. Here we find that the bangle sellers tell us about the bangle meant for a middle-aged woman, that is mothers and housewives. आपण आता अशा स्त्रीकडे वळणार आहोत, अशा स्त्रीबद्दल बोलणार आहोत की जी एक आई झालेली आहे, एक पत्नी आहे, गृहिणी आहे. आणि या पत्नी आणि गृहिणीच्या बाबतीत आपल्याला सांगितलं गेलं आहे. सम आर पर्पल अँड गोल्ड फ्लेक्ड. काही नवीन रंग आपल्याला दिसतात बांगडीचे. फॉर शी हू हॅज जर्नीड थ्रू लाईफ मिडवे, हुज हँड्स हॅव चेरिस्ड, हुज लव हॅज ब्लेस्ड अँड क्रॅडल्ड फेअर सन्स ऑन हर फेथफुल ब्रेस्ट अँड सर्व्स हर हाऊसहोल्ड इन फ्रुटफुल प्राईड अँड वर्शिप द गॉड्स ॲट हर हजबंड्स साईड. This is a final stanza of the poem. And now the bangle seller talks us about the bangles which he is going to sell for those women who are middle-aged women. They have become mothers and housewives. So purple and grey color with gold flecks on them, they are for mature women because they have the experience of life. They have reached the middle age in the journey of life. And what happens in the life of every woman? We find that they give birth to children, and the women have loved, they love their children, they care for their children, and thus they blessed, and thus they brought up their children. So this is the part and parcel of every woman. It is said further that they have held their worthy sons close to their heart. They not only give the birth, they also brought up, and after that it is said they serve their husband, serve her household in fruitful pride. It is said, that is, they serve their husband, they serve their family, and they perform every duty into their family. And last line, and worships the gods at her husband's side. It is said that they have taken pride in being housewives and mothers. They have done their duties perfectly. Because of this, they have the honor of sitting beside their husband and worshipping God during religious ceremonies. So thus she becomes a complete woman. She thinks like that, and now she is at the top position. It is said that she is sitting beside her husband while worshipping God during the religious ceremonies. This is all about the last and the final stanza of this poem. Moving on, this poem also highlights something. So let us discuss what this poem highlights. We find that number of things are indirectly suggested into this poem by the poetess Sarojini Naidu. First of all, womanhood has been beautifully described into this poem. How womanhood has described? It is said that there are three stages into the life of every woman. First of all, she is a young maiden. Then she becomes bride, and finally she becomes wife or mother. So this womanhood and the three stages into the life of every woman has been described into this poem. The second point we should discuss into this poem is the patriarchy. We find that in India, patriarchal society is there, and father is the head of the family, and he takes the decision where to distribute the property and all those things, who will be the heiress, and all these details are done by the father, and it is his right. So the patriarchal society, the impact of the patriarchal society is very much there in India. That is also indirectly described here into this poem. Then we find that women are given secondary status. Generally, we find that the women are not there into the decision making, and they are given secondary status, and that is why women are devoted for performing the family duties. And further, it is said the poem also reflects the patriarchy in Indian society. Women devote their life to serve the family. They fulfill their duties towards the family. And we find that she sits by husband's side to worship God. Though she sits by the side of her husband, but she is not in the center. It is also point to be noted that the poet mentions fair sons. See, the fair sons is the term used into the poem, and not fair children. Why only sons, and why not children? Why not daughter? She is expected to give birth to boys only. So this is also one of the important point that comes indirectly into this poem. So this poem also reflects the patriarchal society into Indian society, patriarchal system into Indian society, which is very much rooted deeply into our soul. And lastly, discrimination in many Indian families among sons and daughters. We find that this discrimination is very much there in our society, and the sons are always treated in a separate way, and the daughters are treated in a separate way. Always the society gives priority to son. So indirectly, this is also narrated beautifully by the poet into this poem. So this is all about this poem. So friends, thank you so much for your listening. I hope that this poem is understood by you. Thank you once again.